Hello, welcome to a 1v1 on Minsk Pocket between Aerospot and VindicareX. Vindicare will be playing as the Oberkommando West in the South Base, and Aerospot will be playing as the United States in the North Base. So, Western Front Armies matchup. We see a rifle start from Aerospot, and we see a Volksgrenadier start from Vindicare, which is very typical on this map. You generally see either Volksgrenadiers or Kubelwagen. Very unusual, actually, to see Stern Pioneers on this map because it's so big, and you really need those Volksgrenadiers for capping power. But a lot of players like to send a Kubelwagen along with their Sturms and supply half-track up to the northern fuel, or their opponent's fuel, to harass and try and keep it cut off for a while, but that aggression generally doesn't pay off at the higher level. It's pretty easy for the Allies to push that back. So it looks like Vindicare is going to go with a more conservative start. Stern Pioneer is actually heading to the right side while his Volksgrenadiers work on the fuel, and it looks like he will be building some sandbags, although I'm not sure if he's just doing that randomly or because he actually plans on setting up a defensive position back there. Scouting ahead with the supply half-track, he does see riflemen making a push for the fuel, so he knows that he has a rifle squad right there. Second rifle squad also moving up. Rear echelons doing some back capping. Rear echelons are a much better back capping unit than Stern Pioneers because you don't need them to fight. Stern Pioneers won't be able to contribute to any opening engagements if they're over here. But it looks like Vindicare is actually going to maybe set up a line back here? I don't know, I'm not sure. Pretty unusual to build two sandbag things if you're just doing it randomly while you cap the point. Supply half-track is moving back. Vindicare is getting a Kubelwagen, so he's going to be delayed in teching up. Some players like to just get two squads of Volks and then tech up immediately. Vindicare has opted instead to grab a Kubelwagen. Kubelwagen's quite good versus US against Soviets. It does not perform very well because of the M3 and the Maxim. So no matter which tier they go, it doesn't stack up particularly well. In fact, even if they conscript spam, it's vulnerable to AT grenades, so no matter what start the Soviet chooses, the Kubelwagen will be weak to it, unless you babysit it quite a bit. Americans, on the other hand, have only riflemen. Until they have rifle grenades, they have no real counter to the Kubelwagen, unless they have access to mechanized, which, if we take a look at Aerospot, he does not. He is going with the standard 3 American commanders, so he will not have access to the Dodge, and therefore he won't be able to chase that Kubelwagen away with any early light vehicles. And we do see a 4th rifleman squad coming out for Aerospot, so he may be skipping lieutenant and going for the captain. 4 riflemen is a very typical start when you are going captain first, but he may just be investing heavily in infantry. If he goes with lieutenant, we'll see that soon, I suspect. These riflemen are going to get suppressed by the Kubelwagen. This squad also getting suppressed, and it looks like those infantry are going to get pushed back, but this squad of riflemen has done a good job pushing around the back and harassing the fuel. There is a squad of Volksgrenadiers here, which may or may not be enough to push those riflemen back, depending on how things work out. Highly likely that it will go in the favor of the riflemen, though. Stern Pioneers are moving up to support the Kubelwagen. It hasn't taken much damage, so it's not in any particular danger. He will be able to repair what little damage it has taken. However, these riflemen are indeed proving to be a little bit too much for those Volksgrenadiers to take on. It looks like yellow cover, medium range. The riflemen, most of them don't actually have cover except for this one. Has probably got yellow cover, I don't know. They do have green cover from the Kubelwagen though, so that's helpful. And we do see mechanized regiment headquarters going up over here. We also see that Vindicare is harassing this fuel in turn, but he's definitely going to get pushed back by this force of riflemen. Lots of infantry moving up, doing heavy damage to those Volksgrenadiers. I'm not sure he's watching. He does notice, maybe not quite early enough, though. Nope. Squad goes down. So he was not quite paying attention. He was a little preoccupied with the engagement in the south and retreated just a split second too late. So that's the first full squad of the game down. But Volksgrenadiers, I mean, losing a squad of those is not the end of the world by any means. It hurts, but it's not as bad as losing your Stern Pioneers. They're cheaper than a Kubelwagen, and losing the Kubelwagen is inevitable, so think about that.
Gather round. I smell orders.
Riflemen moving up. These riflemen working on this area over here. Aerospot doing a good job spreading himself out, harassing lots of territory. Good aggression. Kubelwagen brought to half by a few shots, but he will get that repaired. It looks like that's just blocked by this wall, so they can't quite see each other. Kubelwagen peeking now. And it looks like a pretty hard flank is coming down in the form of a lieutenant, and that Kubelwagen may find itself a little bit out of position. Heavy damage going in on those riflemen, and they'll be forced to retreat. It looks like he sees the flank coming and is actually going to... Wow, he's actually going to chase those riflemen. He's doing heavy damage. Kubelwagen does horrible damage on the move, unfortunately. It looks like those riflemen will get away.
The capture point is under attack.
Just barely, though. That was close.
Contact! Infantry! Suppress them sons of bitches!
And that lieutenant actually may find itself in a little bit of trouble if it gets suppressed by that Kubelwagen. I think it might have gotten a little too close, though. Oh, he just retreats. Probably a good move, considering the Sturm Pioneers are there to support. I think he could have maybe destroyed the Kubelwagen, but he probably would have been at risk of losing the lieutenant. He definitely knows, Aerospot definitely knows that there's a mechanized regiment headquarters up over here. I have no idea why this flak is able to shoot at you while you're taking this point. That's something I've noticed before, and it really annoys me. You also have to be super careful when retreating from right here. If you move just a little too far into this zone, you will retreat this way, and I've lost a lot of full squads because of that. Machine gun getting flanked over here, but the Volksgrenadiers are in turn being chased by a squad of riflemen, so it looks like those Volksgrenadiers are going to need to take up a position in the house. Sturm Pioneers could have wiped that squad easily if Vindicare had only been paying attention. They will take a little bit of damage from that Volksgrenadier squad, and it goes down. I think he probably clicked the building and manually targeted the squad, although I'm not sure. For some reason, we have riflemen in the sniper nest. And it looks like 3 riflemen are actually able to fire on the building from inside the sniper nest, so it's kind of funny. I didn't realize that was the case. They're really clumped up there, but they're getting the job done. A grenade in there surely would be catastrophic, but Vindicare does need to make a hasty retreat. Sturm Pioneers also hold up in the building over here. And he will need to stay at long range to force them out, because getting too close could deal devastating damage to the squads, but it looks like he will be able to force them out in time, and we do have a Puma hitting the field. So, very common to see that. When you see a lieutenant hitting the field, you immediately counter it with a Puma, because Aerospot, likelihood is going to be going for some sort of light vehicle, or not. He's seen the Puma, and he's going to go straight into Captain. Also, a perfectly viable thing to do when you go Lieutenant, because if you think about it, when you go Lieutenant, you know your opponent's going to get a Puma. He also knows his opponent has a mechanized regiment headquarters, so he knows Pumas are coming, or flak half-tracks, or whatever. So a Captain, definitely a good move. He decides to skip the light vehicle phase entirely because he knows his opponent's going to be countering that, and just go straight into the bazookas with his Captain, and possibly following up with a Steward or AT gun to supplement the anti-light vehicle damage. Some barbed wire going up on this point over here. They're going to be forced away though. Rifleman moving up to try and counter. We may see a rifle grenade on the Puma. It's actually quite far from its from the mechanized regiment headquarters. We actually see the Kubel. Oh, the Kubel has to reposition just a little bit. Looks like rifle grenades are going out on the Kubelwagen. I think he just got 2 rifle grenades off, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, there's one. Maybe he just did one.
Squad, get ready.
No, he definitely fired 2. Oh, he fired at both. Yeah, that's strange. I guess he just wanted to push them both back for repairs rather than eliminate the Kubelwagen entirely. Or possibly he didn't quite get in range of the Kubelwagen, or possibly he thought that the machine gun would be enough to take it out. Either way, it looks like these vehicles will both be able to escape, but at least these riflemen will have free reign of the north half of the map for now, and the Captain is hitting the field, and that will help to deter those light vehicles. In fact, if they don't make it back for repairs soon, they will be in danger of taking heavy bazooka damage. Unfortunately, he's actually pushing a little too far ahead with these infantry, and that Puma will move back before it even has vision of the Captain. Actually, he does now have vision of the Captain thanks to his Volksgrenadiers, so I guess that was irrelevant. And Stern Pioneer's trying to get that engine repaired, but he's pushing very hard. He won't quite be able to do it. Oh, nice damage there. That's going to prevent engine repairs for quite a bit of time. Also, the Mechanized Regiment headquarters will not repair vehicles that are in combat. And the Stern Pioneers actually get suppressed at max range in green cover by the machine gun. That's surprising. That must have been a lucky burst. It's very unusual. Ooh, grenade goes out on those Volksgrenadiers, but then he retreats. I'm surprised he didn't stick around to see if he could have won that engagement. These riflemen are way overextended. They could be in a lot of danger. Kugelwagen suppresses the captain, allowing the Mechanized Regiment headquarters to finish repairs on the... Oh, not quite! The Puma fires a shot, and because it did that, the repairs stop, because that counts as it being in combat. They can't repair in combat, so the engine's still not being repaired. But it's going to move around the vision blocker back here. And because he didn't continue pushing, he was unable to finish the Puma off, sadly. And finally, the engine will get repaired. Kugelwagen also fully repaired. Unfortunately, it looks like the American machine gun has taken up a position behind Vindicare's own sandbags, which is going to make it rather annoying to recover his own fuel, but at the very least he is managing to hold on to a victory point and a half, pushing well up the left side with all of his Volksgrenadiers. And worrying mostly about combat in the middle with his superior tech in the form of his Puma and Stern Pioneers, trying to get a few lucky shots at maximum range. He's also baiting bazooka shots from the captain with his Volksgrenadiers, spotting with his Volksgrenadiers. The captain is armed with a Thompson. Oh, grenade going out on the machine gun, takes out the gunner. The Thompson is still in the captain's squad beside having taken one casualty, so excellent damage going out on those Volksgrenadiers. He will retreat anyway, though. Not going to stick around under Stern Pioneer fire and a fresh Volksgrenadier squad. Two fresh Volksgrenadier squads. Meanwhile, Kugelwagen actually moving way up here. He actually smoke grenaded himself to stop that Kugelwagen from firing, and is now going to take up a position in the house in an attempt to bait the Kugelwagen a little bit. Unfortunately, I'm not sure that Stuart's going to make it in time, because these Volksgrenadiers are going to spot the Stuart. Oh, lucky shot from max range, though. He does close the gap. One more shot does do it. And the Kugelwagen, despite making Vet 2, which is impressive, does eventually get taken down. And there was not much Vindicare could have possibly done to prevent that outcome. And now that he knows there's a Stuart on the field, he's mobilizing his Puma to go counter it. We also see some rear echelon troops pushing up the right side, so good use of those. And if we take a look at Vindicare's build, we actually see 6 Volksgrenadier squads, so he is investing very heavily in Volksgrenadiers. He really wants the capping power and the general firepower of having a lot of infantry on the field, but it looks like Aerospot is countering that really hard. He's going with M1919s, which are an excellent counter to all infantry, and gives them long-range firepower, so beating Volksgrenadiers at their own game. And that's going to make things pretty difficult for Vindicare as far as infantry is concerned. We also see an AT gun hitting the field. We do have the machine gun as well. So we'll see if Volksgrenadier spam works out for him. We do have mines going down over here, and we also have Volksgrenadiers pushing back the rear echelons over here. Riflemen continuing to retake left side. M1919 squad trying to do some damage to these Volksgrenadiers, but they are taking Puma fire. Oh, AT gun shot from way over here, it looks like. Does nice damage. Or something. I don't know how that just happened. There's no way it was able to shoot that far. I wonder if he attacked ground and the shot just went way farther than normal. Grenade goes out, dealing heavy damage to this squad of Volksgrenadiers. Not sure he's watching this one, and it's going to go down. There goes the second Volksgrenadier squad of Vindicares. That's a shame, bringing him back down to 5. So that's 7 produced, 5 remaining. Oh, and the Stuart catches the supply half-track. He got that a little too close. Got that a little, I don't know. He probably just parked it there randomly and wasn't watching, and then boom, there it goes. And now a super aggressive push is going out on the Mechanized Regiment headquarters. We have a Stuart, a captain, and an AT gun. The Puma will be powerless to support against that much anti-tank. And that is going to be the end of the Mechanized Regiment headquarters. Things are not looking good for Vindicare right now, that is for sure. Heavy damage going out on another Volksgrenadier squad. Will they get away? Stewart might snipe it at max range. It does make it away. That's good. I don't know if Vindicare could afford another full squad going down. Captain definitely needs to fall back, and he does. Machine gun falling back to a slightly more defensive position as well. Grenade being exchanged over here. Looks like it didn't detonate all that well. I'm not sure if he dodged it or if it was just unlucky. Lieutenant is going to continue firing with the bar though. Stewart moving up to support. Lieutenant doesn't retreat and does have vet 3, so he will be able to continue taking that. Only 2 Volksgrenadiers in that squad remaining. And we actually have a AA half-track hitting the field, so he actually went backwards in tech a little bit. He got a Stewart first, then came back to an AA half-track. And that, I don't blame him for that, because he's up against 5 Volksgrenadier squads and wants to counter infantry hard. Although we do see an infantry support gun hitting the field, so he's rounding out his forces a little bit. No Rakettenwerfer though. He's going to rely entirely on his Puma and Panzerschreck squads. And a Puma is certainly very effective. Rakettenwerfer is more of a defensive unit, and the Puma is much more aggressive. And at this point, Vindicare obviously has to attack because he's been pushed back all the way into his base. Further harassment going down by these rear echelons as well. And actually, we do have a Rakettenwerfer hitting the field now, so I guess I take back what I said. Puma shot goes out, dealing nice damage to the AA half-track. AT gun moves up to prevent any further pushes there. And that is a Vet 1 AT gun, so we may see it is in take A mode. No, it's not, but he may choose to use that soon. 2 shots connect, netting Vet 2 actually on that AT gun. Putting that Puma in grave danger and is forced to retreat. The MG doesn't actually manage to catch those Volksgrenadiers and it's going to fire. Although we do see a usage of defensive stance being used by these M1919s on the flank, and they actually managed to suppress. They managed to suppress the Volksgrenadiers as they approach, but the infantry support gun actually destroys the 50 cal entirely. So that's a bit of a shame. Light vehicles moving back here to push away some Volksgrenadiers that are harassing on the left. Captain also moving up to support. They're not quite suppressed. He needs to stay at max range with his half-track in order to prevent Panzerschreck fire. And moving up on that suppressed squad. Get that out of there. There it goes. Oh, Thompson. The Thompson is firing in the captain squad. That could be enough to kill him. Oh, why didn't he chase? Oh, he should have chased with the captain. Then again, he actually has another 2 squads in the retreat pass, so that looks like another full squad will go down. That's 3 Volksgrenadier squads down now for Vindicare. He is bleeding really badly. On the other side of that, I don't think Aerospot has lost a full squad yet. He's even managing to keep those alive on the right flank, so nice unit preservation by the US player so far. Repairs going out over here. We also have a Puma continuing to harass on the left. We do have the infantry support gun continuing to fire in the middle. It will... wow, that's his first kill? That's surprising. I'm pretty sure it destroyed that 50 cal here in the middle. So, I don't know what the deal is there, but okay. Squad pushed away.
Get your men covering the approach. You know what
And he's
to do.
sending 2 squads to deal with those Volksgrenadiers. He is in the retreat path currently, although those Volksgrenadiers circle around here, they should be able to escape safely, maybe? I don't know. And more Volks pushing up in the center. And we actually see that elite armor has been chosen by Vindicare, which is highly unusual. Almost nobody uses that doctrine. It's almost universally agreed upon to be bad, but it looks like he's been stockpiling all of his fuel, at least ever since he purchased his Puma, and he will be spending it on the Veteran Panzer Battle Group headquarters, or the Veteran Panzer Battle Group, and he's still, unfortunately, quite a few fuel away from that. He has, at his current rate of income, several minutes remaining before he's going to be able to afford that, unfortunately.
Ready for action.
At least this Volksgrenadier squad made it away. He still has 5. I think he actually, yes, he produced a fresh one just now, so he was down to 4 after losing that last squad, but he is bolstering himself back up to 5, spending tons of manpower on Volksgrenadiers, just trying to hold out until he can call in his battle group. I'm really surprised to see that elite armor choice. I actually don't know how early in the game he picked this, but I almost wonder if he's regretting it now. Panzer Fusiliers seems like it. If you're going to be very infantry focused, it might be better, but we'll see how call-in tanks works. We do note that the U.S. player is focusing heavily on infantry himself. Lots of munitions spent on M1919s, although he does have 260 to spare. He hasn't used time on target artillery barrage yet. We'll see if he calls in a priest. It looks like he's not planning on doing that anytime soon, as we do have a Sherman hitting the field. His major is also moving up somewhat. The ambulance is still sitting in the base, so he's not planning on setting up a forward retreat point just yet. Possibly going to do so in the future, though, as we do see he is mobilizing for a big push on the middle, but finally Vindicare has managed to set up some decent defenses here. We do have a Raketenwerfer, lots of Volksgrenadiers ready to fight. Puma also, although it's facing its rear armor for some strange reason. Raketenwerfer shot misses. Sherman does spot the Raketenwerfer and is going to decide to back off. Meanwhile, Riflemen are leading the charge and are going to force a full retreat from everything that Vindicare has here, so that defense was short-lived, and that infantry support gun is actually rather exposed right now. I think he's going to let that get away, though, in lieu of some juicier targets, namely this Raketenwerfer. He is focus firing the Raketen, gets it down to half, but it will make it away. Fire going out on these retreating Sturm Pioneers as well. Look at the damage from that focus fire, even on a retreating squad, even at long range. 2 down, 3 down, almost wipes the squad. Look at that damage. And I'm not sure how many M1919s he's got here. At least 3, not sure. Between 3 and 6, I don't know, some amount. He can easily afford more, but obviously that depends on him going all the way back to his base. He's actually getting super aggressive right now on that infantry support gun, at least with his armor. I'm not sure if this is intentional or not, but he is going to take a little bit of damage from that Raketenwerfer. And finally he does back off. We actually see a Volksgrenadier harassment going up the left side once again, forcing back this squad of riflemen, which was already somewhat wounded. They need to make a trip to the ambulance. Still no retreat point set up. Ambulance still sitting in the base. I think that a retreat point would be beneficial to try and get set up at this point, but see what happens. Stewart, poorly positioned, takes a nasty shot in the rear. It's going to be forced away. AT gun moving up, though. Rifleman also moving up. He can pop defensive stance now, but he'll lose the ability to do that once he makes it into combat. And both of his officers are now Vet 3, so they will be sprinting passively. We actually see time on target artillery barrage being dropped. I think he may have been doing that in an attempt to set up a slightly more forward defensive line. I don't know, but he is sending riflemen over here. Grenade goes out. Ooh, not that bad. Inflicts 1 casualty, but does heavy damage to the remaining 3 squad members. M9. Oh, rifle grenade does make it out on the Puma. I'm not sure if he's going to follow that up with his Sherman. No, he's too busy repairing. He's actually taking quite a bit of damage on those rifles, and he will be forced to retreat those as well. In fact, one of the reasons he may not have set up the forward retreat point is he wants to retreat all the way back home to get double 1919s on those rifle squads, but I couldn't tell you for sure.
Under fire! Crowd's got an armored car over here!
Sherman fully repaired. This is a bad situation, by the way, sitting idle outside of your tank. It's very easy to shift right click your tank after you've given the order to repair, and they'll automatically get back inside when they're done repairing. And that's a good thing to do, because you definitely don't want to let your tank get caught with the crew outside. AA half-track taking nasty damage, will manage to suppress those Volksgrenadiers and get out of Raketenwerfer range, fortunately. Captain is forced to retreat, but we do have a priest on the field. I'm not sure what it's shooting at. Looks like the infantry support gun, and that will easily be able to... Oh, that will... We actually have a battle group, Panzer battle group, hitting the field, getting right up in his face, catches the wounded AA half-track, catches the priest. AT gun is also in a nasty position. Fortunately, we do have another one set up back here. I don't think he knew that his opponent had chosen elite armor, but he did opt for a second out AT gun for whatever reason, and that's definitely going to pay off, pushing back this armor. And that was a nice push by Vindicare. His Panzer IVs make a grand entrance. Unfortunately, lots of harassment still on the right side by these rear echelon troops. Minesweeper up as well, clearing out the mines. Major actually doing a little bit of capping himself. Volksgrenadiers continuing to harass on the left, and he's probably going to have to send some infantry to deal with that now that his AA half-track has been taken out. I guess he does still have a Stuart, though, so that is always good. A great unit for dealing with harassment. We now have the American AT gun stolen, though, unfortunately. He's going to want to try to clear that out with some infantry of his own, and we do see one of the Panzer IVs heading up the left side. It is going to catch the Major. Ooh, nice first shot. Inflicts one casualty. Aerospot very quick to retreat, though. Good reflexes. I'm glad I noticed that. Losing a Major is not a good thing to do. Fortunately, the Major is the cheapest officer to replace, so it's not the end of the world, actually. You'd think the Major would be more expensive, but he's really not, because he has no combat effectiveness. He's very expensive to get the first time, and then very cheap to replace thereafter. Just like in real life. Ooh, nasty shot on that rifle squad. One more lucky blast from a P4 or Puma or whatever, and that's a dead full Vet 3 squad with M19s. He does get out of there just in time. Stuart actually uses shell shock on the Panzer IV, and that is a dead Panzer IV. He lingered in the arc of that AT gun for just too long. Just a little too long, and that's going to net him Vet 2. It's going to turn into a very useful tool. He should definitely take advantage of take aim, though. I don't think I've seen him use that, unfortunately, because it's a great ability. It'll increase the range of the AT gun to about right here, I think, or maybe even a little further. Makes it very long, also increases visibility. So, awesome ability. Something to consider. It does cost munitions, however, to activate. It is 30 munitions. But it's not temporary, it does last. Smoke grenade going out to protect the lieutenant. Unfortunately, the P4 is going to simply go around the smoke and continue firing. Lieutenant will be forced to retreat. Stern Pioneers are going to catch the rifle squad, but once again, he's very quick to retreat. Good reflexes, not letting himself lose the squad to not paying attention. Captain taking heavy damage over here, though, being forced back. Sherman and an AT gun also being forced back. P4 pushing up the left side with Puma support and Stern Pioneer support. Vet 2 on the P4 now. Although Aerospot is certainly not lacking for veterancy. The Priest is also still alive, but unfortunately it hasn't quite had the impact that I think he was hoping for. As far as mobile artillery goes, the Priest is actually the least effective. The Stuka and the Katyusha and the Panzerwerfer all perform much better. The Priest is doctrinal. Expensive, but it's just not that great, unfortunately. We actually do have shell shot going out on the Panzer IV over here. Armor-piercing rounds equipped on the Sherman. He doesn't want to get too close, though. There is a Puma in the back. So, ooh, a lot of AT, and that Stuart is getting way too close. Not sure what he was thinking there. I think that may have been an accident. That's a shame. But Stuart had been doing nicely, and it goes down. He's also possibly, I don't know, he walked right by a squad of Volksgrenadiers up here. Volksgrenadiers did not respond to a Major and a Minesweeper squad. Probably could have done some decent damage to both of those, but instead he's just going to keep harassing and capping. Sherman is actually moving all the way back to help deal with that, as well as the triple vet rifleman squad, and it looks like the line in the middle is moving up. We now have an American AT gun in addition to a Vet 2 Rakettenwerfer. We have lots of Volksgrenadiers continuing to harass on the left, lots of harassment continuing on the right, sorry, and lots of harassment continuing on the left, as well as a somewhat powerful collection of vehicles to contend with only a Sherman. We actually do see a Jackson hitting the field, so that's going to counter the enemy's armor quite hard if he can use that to its maximum effectiveness. Volksgrenadier is taking heavy damage from the riflemen as well, and a lieutenant. And those minesweepers are definitely going to get chased away by that push over there, but we do have a Jackson and a Sherman moving to respond. Hopefully we won't get too close to this AT here in the middle. These are actually rather overextended. He could circle around in here. It looks like he's going to, and I'm not sure how this engagement's going to go. There's absolutely no AT weapons supporting, but they will be able to sneak back down through here, and I think they should be fine. Yeah, they will be fine. He is going to make his escape, and the Minesweeper was forced to retreat, so mission accomplished, I guess. Some kind of grenade going out over there. M1919 is getting into oddly close range. So those Volksgrenadiers, they are Vet 5. And then he grenaded his own lieutenant. Or maybe the Volksgrenadier threw that? I don't know what's going on. Jackson and Sherman moving up on the P4 though. Nice shot from the Jackson. Heavy damage goes out, but the Puma and the AT gun are repositioning. Unfortunately, he gave a weird reverse order, and it looks like it didn't quite take properly. Oh, I think an AT gun shot just got deflected off the frontal armor of that Jackson. That's amazing. Oh, I think he used attack ground right there. He used attack ground, hit the rear armor of the Puma, and destroyed it. Jackson makes it away, and the Puma will go down. Priest also firing on the AT gun, it looks like, and that will be forced to reposition. Pretty poor accuracy, unfortunately, on the first 2 shots, and it looks like it will be able to make it out of the barrage. Nope, never mind. I'm just kidding. It is dead. Repairs going up on the Jackson. Nice usage of the Jackson right there. I'm fairly certain he used attack ground. If not, then that was lucky. If so, then great use of attack ground. Very nice shot right there. Good play by Aerospot. He really wanted to take it down with that Puma. I can't believe that the shot from the AT gun got deflected by the Jackson's frontal armor. I didn't even know that was possible. It was at max range, so that's interesting. A lot of damage going out on those Volksgrenadiers, and you gotta pay attention though. Your M1919 will not fire while you're moving. That's the one thing. He keeps charging at a minimum range with the M1919, when staying at maximum range would get the job done just fine. He actually isn't going to chase with his P4. I think he could have taken that full squad if he had taken one more shot. I actually see a Schwer Panzer headquarters going up down here in the bottom right, so that's going to be a nice defense on the victory point. It's also in a very far back position, very hard to assault. It's a good placement there. P4 circling back around towards the middle to try to push back this infantry. It looks like Captain forced to retreat once again, and I actually don't think we have a forward retreat point established yet. He's content to sit in his base with his ambulance, and I'm not sure what the deal is there. I think he could really benefit from that, but at the same time, he doesn't want to lose his ambulance to a stray Puma shot, a stray Rakettenwerfer shot, so still, I mean, even if you put it like here, it's still better than retreating all the way back to base. Nasty shot from that P4. Heavy damage going out on that squad. Jackson is retaliating though. Heavy damage on the P4 as well. Nice, another shot from the AT gun. He will be forced to move back, however, with that rifleman squad, and a big force of VindicareX infantry is pushing the middle at this point. Lieutenant also working on the left. He may be able to chase off those Sturm Pioneers if he can play that just right, but he has a lot to focus on here in the middle as well. Damage going out on his Sherman from the Rakettenwerfer. Damage going out on his infantry from this massed squad force of Volksgrenadiers. The Priest actually is firing. Nice shot from the Priest. That was devastating damage. He needs to move out of that Priest barrage. Oh, unfortunately, the second shot goes long. Grenade actually going out on those Volksgrenadiers, though. Doesn't do quite the damage it could. Ooh, nice shot right there. Almost wiping yet another squad. He's taking heavy damage. Every single one of those Priest shots has the potential to be devastating. 2 more casualties inflicted right there. That was a nice Priest barrage. And I actually think that's a pretty good example of how the Priest isn't all that great. Those Volksgrenadiers were super clumped, and if that had been a Stuka barrage, a Katyusha, or a Panzerwerfer, doesn't matter. That, at least one of those Volk squads would be dead, if not 2. A lot more casualties inflicted, so I don't know if I think the Priest needs a buff, but I definitely don't think it's all that impressive. But considering it's the only mobile artillery that the U.S. really have, it does its job. Infantry support gun continuing to fire on the captain. He is taking the victory point, and right now there's not that much up here to stop him except for some AT weapons and the infantry support gun itself. If he continues to move around as he is doing, he should be able to prevent too many casualties. M1919 will be firing on some of these support team weapons, forcing them away, and it's going to be some time before the Priest can fire again, and by some time I mean it can already fire again. So he's probably going to be moving that up. I guess the short cooldown, actually, that is quite a short cooldown, so that is one thing that the Priest does have going for it, certainly. And he will be moving, no, he's not moving that up, unfortunately. So he may struggle a little bit in this infantry engagement. Captain taking heavy damage, still no ambulance in the field. Riflemen are moving up. We actually do see the Panzer IV continuing to push up the center with the support of these team weapons and infantry. We have a bit of weird ambush set up over here. Grenade going out on that tightly bunched Volksgrenadier squad. He will react though just in time and retreat out of there. Continuing to harass the left side, we actually have a unit of Obersoldaten, a great unit to send out on its own to cap because any infantry that responds will get cut down. Especially if you can cap without the opponent actually seeing what you're capping with, which just looks like what he's going to try and do, although he hasn't quite stepped into the point yet. What was that? What was that noise?
We're at full strength.
Sherman and the...
Armor ready.
I don't know what just happened. Something just died. Some sort of vehicle. I don't know what just happened. I don't know what that was. P4 is still on the field. We actually have a second Jackson hitting the field, so lots of late game planning going on by Aerospot here. He is not going to let himself get overwhelmed by Panzer IVs, and if we take a look at Vindicare, he's nowhere near getting a second battle group. I'm not sure that Aerospot has even seen this truck yet. I don't know if there's any way to check. Yeah, it's not on his map. He doesn't know that this truck is here. He hasn't seen the Obersoldaten either, I don't think. Nope. So he doesn't even know that he's spent that 80 fuel on that. So he thinks that another battle group is probably going to be coming out any second. Ooh, nasty pair of shots. Both penetrate, even on the armor skirts. Triple vet. He is popping blitz, but it's not enough. Maximum range shot from the Vet 2 Jackson. Boom, he didn't even have to pop AP grounds. That was devastating. He did pop blitz to try and escape. He had great reaction time, but it just wasn't enough. He fired at max range, he rolled a hit, and boom, that was the end of that P4. That hurts. That was a Vet 3 P4. He was making really good use of that. Nice use of those tanks. Just that little bit of overextension, and that was the end of that. However, these Volksgrenadiers are both Vet 5, both equipped with Panzerschrecks. They will form an effective screen, and now he's actually thinking, I'm not sure what to do with these two Jacksons. Spent a lot of resources on Jacksons, and my opponent actually still has quite a lot of anti-tank infantry. And my own infantry force is not bad, though. He does have three triple vet M1919 upgraded rifle squads, so should be able to push these Volksgrenadiers back quite effectively. And the high explosive rounds on the Sherman will also be nice. A supplement to that. Lots of damage going out on those Volksgrenadiers. Grenade, poorly aimed, it looks like. M1919 may take out that Vet 3 Raketenwerfer, and that would be devastating if that goes down. Yes, the Vet is cleared off of the Raketenwerfer. He's going to have to start all over. That hurts. Only 59 points remaining as well on Vindicare's, and so things are really coming down to the wire. Aerospot started out with an excellent lead. He was really pushing Vindicare hard. Now Vindicare is in the midst of almost a comeback, but losing that Panzer IV really hurt him. He's losing the armor game. As far as infantry, he will still maintain the lead. He's cranked so much resources into his Obersoldaten, into his Volksgrenadiers, and hopefully he'll be able to make that count. He's definitely going to be able to push these riflemen back with superior numbers, even though the riflemen do have M1919s and veterancy. They're still not quite able to contend. And yeah, it looks like each of these squads only has one LMG. If he put double LMGs on those, which he can afford to do, he has 160 munitions currently, he can afford two anyway. That would help him fight this massed infantry that Vindicare is using. And he's still, how much fuel is that? 40 fuel away from his next Panzer IV column, assuming, of course, that that's what he's going to choose to do. He may instead go for a Panther if he wants something a little sooner, and he'll have the fuel, or the manpower for that, in fact, within the next 30 seconds or so. We don't know if that's going to pay off, though, up against two Jacksons. In fact, bringing in tanks at all against this may not pay off, and that may be part of the reason that he's using infantry so heavily. In fact, he's going to get a Lux. Wow, what an interesting decision against this to get a Lux. He's definitely going to try and take advantage of its higher mobility to harass and continue working the victory points and try and work the areas of the map where this armored column is not pushing. And we actually see a hard push for the right side with these tanks. Not sure if any shoe mines are currently guarding over here. He may be pushing straight for the right side victory point, and if he does, he's probably going to find a completely undefended Schwer Panzer headquarters. Yes, he does find a completely undefended Schwer Panzer headquarters. There's absolutely no way that this is going to be able to survive this push. Vindicare has nothing that can respond to this. And I don't know if that was just pure luck or what, but that is a shame. He does manage to pop the looks out in time. I guess he did know that his opponent had that because he saw Obersoldaten walking around. He didn't know where it was. He went to go check over here and it immediately died. So, good move. And I think that Vindicare fell into a somewhat false sense of security since his opponent never even scouted over here. He never even thought to check. So he'd never had a reason to set up a defensive line, and he paid for that quite dearly. Looks, as I suspected, avoiding the armored column, moving to harass up the left side. It will be able to do some damage to whatever moves to respond. In this case, it looks like it's going to be a captain, although that may be somewhat ill-advised, considering there's Obersoldaten capping over here. 2 bazooka shots do go out, but the captain is quite clumped, and the flak bursts do heavy damage. Meanwhile, here in the center, Volksgrenadiers getting pushed back by M1919s. What is that grenade aimed at? I'm not sure if Aerospot is aware that you can cancel a grenade by hitting S for stop if you're in the middle of the animation, and they will not throw it, and you'll get your munitions back, because that was obviously going to accomplish nothing. Sherman pushing up on that Raketenwerfer. It's now a Vet 2 Sherman. Only 10 kills, so looks like it's been doing a lot of damage to various vehicles or whatever. And he's actually going to retreat that Raketenwerfer in the face of the advancing riflemen and Sherman. Those riflemen are taking heavy damage from Obersoldaten. Get out of there! Run, riflemen! Wow, are they really going to get away? I can't believe that LMG burst didn't kill them. That is incredibly lucky that those managed to survive. Jackson is apparently attempting to harass some Obersoldaten. Not sure how effective that's going to be. Yeah, we actually have 195 fuel stockpiled by Vindicare now. He can't get a Sturm Tiger, can't get a Panther. His Schwer Panzer headquarters is down. So he is actually going to be forced to rely on call-in tanks if he wants to spend his fuel on anything at all. Priest has 23 kills actually, so it's definitely racking those up. Sitting back in the base, pretty defensive position. Riflemen are getting reinforced. Still only one at 1919 on those. Still no forward retreat point being established. Major's actually dead. Not sure he wants to spend the 160 manpower to replace him. And we actually see a 50 cal hitting the field, managing to suppress some Volksgrenadiers so that the captain can move up to capture center victory point. However, he's going to get pushed very hard by the looks and some Sturm Pioneers. He's actually quite overextended now. He immediately retreats, doesn't want to lose his captain. Oh, infantry support gun almost wipes its own Volksgrenadier squad. That would have been bad. Jackson moving up to push away the looks. Big force of infantry moving up to push away the Sturm Pioneers. Sherman also moving up to support. Looks like the Obersoldaten were pushed back. Not sure. No casualties. Just took a little damage from those riflemen. And he's going to get out of there. Raketenwerfer actually moving up. That's going to be a little bit exposed. In the middle, we do have this push succeeding. Oh, nasty shot by the infantry support gun. 3 casualties inflicted on that rifle squad. Volksgrenadiers, Panzerschreck firing on the Jackson. We do have high... No, we don't, actually. We should definitely put those on, but I guess he doesn't want to risk getting jumped by, I don't know, another battle group, which is definitely a reasonable concern, as Vindicare does have the fuel now, and as soon as he saves up the manpower, I suspect he'll be calling another one of those in, but he's very low on manpower, as he's doing a lot of reinforcement of his infantry, especially these Obersoldaten. They are not cheap. And they will actually inflict a lot of damage on those riflemen. He does get out of range, and he will be able to get away, I think. And that Jackson's actually grabbing a few infantry kills. 1 infantry kill. He may attempt to crush. I don't know. Raketenwerfer is moving up to support, and the clock actually is ticking in Aerospot's favor once again now that he's managed to secure the center. Actually surprised nothing has moved to secure the right side. We actually do see a squad of riflemen moving. Late game squad of rear echelons simply to harass actually might not be a bad idea. That is 160 manpower though. Rakettenwerfer does move up to support against the Jackson, and as he does not want to take any further damage, he's forced to retreat it. He does drop time on target artillery though, forcing the Obersoldaten off the point, but not forcing a retreat or anything of that nature, so he will be able to capture the left side. Meanwhile, riflemen are getting pushed by a big force of infantry. Nice shot! Oh, Obersoldaten wiped the squad after a nice shot by the infantry support gun. He wasn't paying attention, and in that split second it went from 4 men to wiped. So that is a shame to lose that vetted rifle squad, and that's one of his original 3, and it finally went down. Priest firing, nice shot from the Priest, dealing devastating damage right there, and they are suppressed in the midst of a Priest barrage. That's not a creeping barrage or anything, it's just a regular barrage. Looks like it was aimed a little farther back though, so these Volksgrenadiers will be fine, and they will recover a 50 cal, so things are actually looking somewhat grim for Aerospot as his infantry forces are dwindling. And Vindicare definitely is blobbing those Volksgrenadiers, no doubt about that. I don't know if I would call 3 riflemen, a lieutenant and a captain a blob, but
Ready for orders.
okay. And I really do think that double 1919s would have been a better investment earlier on, but he only went with 1. And he's suffering a little bit as a result. And unfortunate, yeah, he is right that the Priest is not punishing Vindicare's massed infantry quite as much as it could be, but what can you do? He definitely needs to throw the high explosive rounds back on the Sherman, though. He's had AP rounds equipped for this whole time. I don't know what the rationale is there. I've seen him switching, so it's not like he doesn't know that he can do that. Look at all this infantry. That is a lot of infantry. We actually see a Jagd Panzer getting produced, so he does want to spend the fuel, but he doesn't want to spend it on Panzer IVs. He's going to get a Jagd Panzer instead. Did not feel satisfied with the performance of his Panzer IVs. Going to try a different approach. Looks defending the right side. Definitely a good idea. Anything moves over to harass, it will not succeed. We actually see a howitzer carriage. Ooh, nice entrance. 2 kills on his very first shot. Priest also firing. Not sure what at this area. Not sure that's going to accomplish anything. Oh, Shrek snipes a rifleman. And indirect fire will force those Volksgrenadiers to retreat. We do still have a wounded squad of Obersoldaten as well as a Rakettenwerfer defending over on the left, so it's going to take at least some effort for Aerospot to push that away, and we actually have the Jackson moving straight down the right side. I'm not sure if he saw the looks over here or what, but he definitely knows it's over there and he's going to hunt it down. I don't know how he knows about this, but apparently he does. Vindicare reacts almost immediately. Very nice reaction time on Vindicare, but I don't think that it matters. It's so unsupported. Looks like the Jackson's actually not going to chase, though, for whatever reason. Oh, it still has vision, though, and it makes a shot at maximum range, taking the looks out. I don't know how he knew that looks was over there, but apparently he did, so much for that. Oh.
Americans have 75 points remaining.
Now we actually have a bazooka and an M1919 on this squad now, and he's making a push for the central point. Oh, I don't think he did know about the looks. I think he was simply sending the tank down here to capture the point, and through sheer dumb luck, he ran into a looks and took it out. Jackson firing on the Jagdpanzer. Howitzer motor carriage firing on the Volksgrenadiers. He's actually forced to move the Jackson back a little bit because of this Panzerschreck screen. We actually also have Vet 2 now on the Priest. I think it can fire quite rapidly. I'm not sure exactly what the cooldown is now on that. Probably pretty short, though. Panzerschreck squad is sent over here to push away the Jackson, and that will definitely force that to fall back. The Sherman badly needs repairs. unfortunately, I think he just forgot. I don't know. Sending a lieutenant to deal with those Obersoldaten. Grenade going out. Will he notice? Yes, he will.
A capture point is being overrun.
And there's a smoke grenade going out, actually, right there. And if he walks into this point, the booby trap will take out, it looks like 3. Oh, he doesn't fall for it, though. That would have been 3 down. He probably would have not lost the full squad, though, so
They got us down to 25
not
points.
too bad.
Light gun carrier tank ready. Pull everyone back. We're down to 10 points.
And it looks like that's going to be the end of the game. So that wraps things up. Vindicare really managed to hold on to the victory points. He actually grabbed the top with nothing but a Raketenwerfer and some wounded Obersoldaten. Not much of a push to retake that by the Allied armor. I think the Sherman was somewhat underutilized there in the late game, and I definitely think that Aerospot could have won this. But he got pushed back by massed infantry. And the solution to that, believe it or not, is probably your own massed infantry. I think if he had gone with like 4 or 5 riflemen and just thrown M1919s on all of them, he actually would have won this. And I know that that's like the most noob possible thing to say, is just blob harder. But I really think that actually would have helped him secure his victory. At this point in the game, it doesn't really matter what he does. He's kind of screwed. But back when he still had his lead, I think some of his build decisions didn't pay off. The Priest did quite nicely. I don't know if I think Riflemen with 1919s would have been better than that. But I think the second Jackson was kind of overkill. His opponent just kept on massing infantry. He did have a nice push over here on the right side, taking out the Schwer Panzer headquarters, but he never capitalized on it as far as territory goes, and I think if he had just harassed a little more, some late game rear echelons even, just a little more capping power, a little more infantry, a little bit less vehicles, I think could have won this game for him. He had such a strong start. It's a shame that victory slipped from his fingers. Really nice comeback by Vindicare. He definitely worked with what he had, didn't have a lot of fuel coming in, and just cranked out all the infantry he could. Look at the veterancy on these Volksgrenadiers, getting work done, fighting at max range, making good use of those. They actually do quite well against riflemen once they're Vet 5, as long as they have the numbers advantage, which clearly they did. He even kept his Sturm Pioneers alive, so nice work there. Terrible unit preservation in the beginning, though. He lost like 4 Volksgrenadier squads, so bad start for Vindicare. Anyway, that's going to conclude the game. I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you for watching.